What's up, everyone? Happy New Year. I should have had on my Happy New Year hat and my Happy New Year glasses, but I left them in Philadelphia because I had too much stuff to bring home from the holidays. Hi, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. How's it going? How's it going? Welcome to 2023. This is the first, the first podcast of 2023. And I'm super excited to be joined with you to talk about some pretty cool things. So I don't have a guest today. I'm the guest, but we want to talk today about boundaries. I want to talk to you about some boundaries. I wanted to recap 2022. First and foremost, let me say with deep in my heart, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for supporting me and this vision and this podcast in 2022. This was something I felt God had put on my heart to do, to focus and showcase other people, to help them speak out loud about the purpose and vision that God has placed on their lives. And I'm just overwhelmed with the response that you have given me, the love that you have given me, the respect that you have given me. I'm just a girl from Philly trying to just do a little something. And you guys have really, really blessed me. I was getting on the plane early on Sunday morning, coming from Philadelphia. And I was a guy sitting in first class. I wasn't in first class. I was in economy, comfort plus. I was passing him. He said, "You look so familiar to me." He said, "Are you Lynette Jackson?" He says, "I've seen your podcast." And I was just like, yo, somebody saw my podcast and I saw them. I met them. So on the plane. And so it was just so exciting. And it just lets me know that, we can't really focus on who's liking, who's sharing, who's doing this. I just have to focus on the mission and the purpose that I feel God has called me to do for this podcast, because you never know who's watching. You never know who's listening. They may not comment all the time. They may not catch it live, but they catch the replay. I get the messages, I get the notes, and I get the text messages. And so I just want to, from the bottom of my heart, say thank you so very much for your support in 2022, just trying to, do something that I felt that God called me to do. And I've always told people, on the other side of your obedience is someone else's deliverance. And so I pray that my obedience to start this podcast, to come on Tuesday nights, and to bring the guests and to bring the people that are on the show, I pray that you've gotten something from the show and from some of the guests that have blessed me, as well as some of the guests that have blessed you. But today we're going to recap 2022. We're going to talk about some of those guests, and we are going to talk a little bit today about boundaries, because it's super important as we are starting the new year that we set boundaries for each other. Well, if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go.
You're watching Speak Out Loud, the story behind the brand.
About that. See how modest she is, y'all? But let's go. So roasted crickets, I'm like, not eating that.
Yeah.
Consistency.
Every day showing up, even when you don't feel like it.
And now your host, Lynette Jackson.
That's right. I am your host, Lynette Jackson, and I am so excited to be here with you in 2023. We made it. We made it. If you are hearing my voice, you're listening to me, and you can smell and you can see and you can taste and you can still move, we made it. We made it to 2023. And this is the very first podcast of 2023 and the very first show of 2023. And I am so excited. Again, I wanted to say thank you for all your support in 2022. For those who know me, what's up? I'm glad we made it. For those who don't, I want to introduce myself. If you're catching this by replay or somebody has forwarded this to you, my name is Lynette Jackson, and I'm the owner of Roar Media Group. Roar is a digital marketing company that helps its clients speak out loud in the marketplace. We started this company back in 2017 because there was a need to provide quality graphics at affordable prices. We build websites, we do graphics, we build apps. I built my first app last year. I'm coming out with my second app this year. I know. We do graphics, we do videos, we do voiceovers. And we do it for churches, small businesses, ministries. And we would love to do it for you. So if you are interested in having us to help you speak out loud in the marketplace with your graphics and your products and your events and things like that, just log on to our website, roarmediagroup.com, to schedule your free consultation. And I just wanted to say that if there are any people that have and I've had the chance to work with last year, I want to say thank you for the business. I've worked with so many amazing people. God has really taken my business to a different level. I did my very first music video. Yep, I filmed it and I edited it, and it has thousands of views for a client. And it was just through the grace of God that I was able to, come and record it with my equipment and be able to edit a project for her single album. She was one of our guests. And to be able to do that, which now it's doing well. It's going viral. It's out there doing it. And I'm thinking, wow, I did the video. So I'm just so excited. I've built a lot of websites last year, and I built my first app for a client last year. I know. And I'm going to be building my second app. I'm working on that now. So I'm excited at the things that God has enabled us to do. Of course, coming on every Tuesday with you is always a super blessing. The people that I've met, the places that I've gone, the things that I've seen on airplanes, the things that I've smelt on airplanes. It's all good though. It's just been a great year, and I don't know about you. So listen, this is an interactive show today. I don't have a guest. It's just me. I just wanted to take the first Tuesday before bringing another guest on, just to say thank you to you for your support. Now, we have a tornado watch here in where I live. It's a tornado watch up until 9 o'clock. So we just keep our fingers crossed and pray that we don't lose our internet. I hear it thundering outside. Atlanta's weather has been really crazy. You guys know, a couple of weeks ago, I woke up, it was 7 degrees, right? Today it's 60. So you never know what's going to happen here in the weather. But we're just so excited to be with you. And I really kind of want to just recap some of our shows that we've had. If you are watching and you put it in a comment, if you've watched any of your shows, what was your favorite show? I'd love to bring you on to just talk about what was your favorite show and what you got from that. And then we're going to get into Boundaries. I had to learn a little bit about boundaries this year or last year. And I had to really learn to be true to them myself and not really back out on my own goals that I've set for myself in terms of boundaries. But we kicked off the year when we started talking to one of my favorite clients. His name is Robert Adams, and he is the owner and CEO of Telehelp 24/7. You know, guys, has been a partner of mine, and we're so excited to be partnering with him. He just turned 60 years old. And I flew up to Pennsylvania into Delaware for his 60th birthday party. So Rob Adams, a big shout out to you and your beautiful wife for hosting the bomb party and for your 60th birthday party. It was so good. So we kicked off the year with Robert Adams and Telehelp, and he's helped us to understand and helped us to break the stigma of mental health. And then I had one of my favorite pastors on, Pastor Bank Akamola. He took me away at the top of the year in February. We went to Sri Lanka for 12 days and we did a missions trip. And so Sri Lanka was where the tsunami happened, I think, in 2004. And we actually stayed at one of the hotels that was affected by it. And he gave us the history of the 12-foot waves. And I got a chance to just pray and walk on the beach, which was really surreal, to walk on the beach where many people lost their lives. And just to feel the energy there was really amazing. And so we went on this missions trip, and he came on to talk about, you may not be called to missions, but you're called to be a part of missions in some sort of way. And you can pray, you can give, and you can even go. But everybody's not called to be a missionary. And so, but if you're not, you can always support. And we had our girl Denise Armstrong on, and we kind of surprised her. She's been on twice, by the way, but we kind of surprised her. She's an actress. She is. She's on Facebook twice a week, and she just really, her last time being on the show, she talked about resetting and getting that rest that we needed. And then we had one of my favorite women on. Her name is Christine Psalms, and she is the mompreneur, and she actually taught us about how we need to have time for ourselves and how we can talk and put ourselves in time out. And so I was really super excited to have Christine Psalms on with us. Then we had the wealth mindset motivator, Miss Sean Venable. Boy, she talked about mindset. And so we've had a lot of great guests on mindset. She talked about how to have a wealthy mindset and how to, that wealth is not just money, but it is about having a mindset. Tara Katina came on and she talked to us. She's a life coach for kids. She had her new book out, and she talked to us about PTSD and secondhand PTSD, even with children. And so that's really super exciting, Tara Katina. We went through Finance Month in I think it was April. And then we had Janelle Youngblood, who works with a lot of churches, and she works with making sure that churches stay in compliant. So she was on with us. And then we had one of my favorite guests on, and you guys really loved her. It was Carol Hunter, the money mender. And I don't know if you guys remember, but she was the lady who put her checks in the microwave. Remember that? She put her checks in the microwave so that she could kind of mess up the numbers and the routing numbers so she could buy herself some more time. Her money system was so broken that she would microwave checks just so that she could mess up the coding so she could buy herself more time. I mean, that was amazing, her story. Then we had Mr. Robert Brickey, a former Duke basketball player who is now doing estate planning, and he helped us pull ourselves together for estate planning. That was a great conversation. And by the way, you can go out to Facebook, you can go to YouTube, and if you want to see all of these shows just to catch up on any of them, you can go to YouTube. All of the shows are out there. We had Alexis Sidney, who helped us prepare ourselves for the IRS. We had Miss Marcia Tate on, honey, and she was revealing, she was spilling all the tea on family secrets. And so we talked about why it's important to be able to speak in your own truth and to not hold on to things. We talked about what happens when you look beyond the surface of what you're going through to identify the things that have brought you there, and how we sometimes bury so many things on the inside of us that they kind of surface in different ways. She told her powerful story of childhood molestation. It was very, very powerful. Go out and see that show with Marcia Tate. It was Family Secrets. And then we had my friend, Mr. Abraham Scully. I love Abraham. Abraham has a unique business. It's called Speaks to Inspire. And Abraham is eradicating the stigma of mental health in colleges. And so Abraham's about 26 years old, and he started this business, and he is so busy to the point where he's asked me to become a Speaks to Inspire speaker in 2023. So I'll be going out to colleges and universities, and I'll be standing next to him and fighting next to him to eradicate the stigma of mental health in colleges and universities. That's a big goal for me, and I'm super excited. Keep you posted on that. And of course, guys, we had the great Ralph Sampson. That was one of my favorite interviews, and we just had that on last week. And he told us about how he started, how he selected UVA, but what he's doing now. And so there's life after basketball. And he was in the NBA. And so everybody knows the great Ralph Sampson. That was one of my favorite shows. We had Coach Judy on, who taught us how to breathe. Remember that one? That was good. Damon Redding. What's up, Damon Redding from Be Heard, period. That was really, really, really a great show where we got to break down the myths and the stereotypes about church. That was super good. We had Mr. Gene Banks on, and we had Vince the Prince on along with my good friend, Mr. Keith Johnson. We had those guys on. Miss Britt Knight came on to talk about beauty is not just skin deep. And she is a makeup artist, but she came on and she was dropping some nuggets on us. We had Dr. Kim McNair on, your lady on the move, the boss lady on the move. She has so many things. She's the lady who started her business 30 years ago with $500 in a dream. So I love her story. I love her story behind the brand, because she started with $500 and a dream, and she's still doing business as a Black woman in the Atlanta area, just doing some great things. As a matter of fact, she and I got a chance to go to the Bronze Lens Film Festival, and I got to interview the writers and producers of Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul. That was amazing. So that was really awesome. So Dr. Kim, Happy New Year to you. We had Miss Diane Carter on. She has a new book out, and she talked about her new book. We had Michelle Small, who's rowing your boat. She teaches on leadership, and so her book is really, really good. Who's Rowing Your Boat? We had the one and only Mr. Lowell Pye on. He sang for us. He is a Grammy winner, and he was nominated for a Dove Award, and he's got new singles out. A lot of cool things going on with him. So Happy New Year, Lowell. We had Pastor Nell Smith Ward on, and she talked about her single Holy Ghost, and that was awesome. And now her album is out, so go ahead and download it. It's My Time. Pastor Nell, I love you and Bishop, and I love you guys to life. I can't wait to see what God's going to do with us this year. And I can't wait to see you again and work with you again. And then we had Melisha Johnson. This was such a powerful show. We did this show we called it Church Girl in Prison. That was such a powerful show. Melisha, thank you so much for gracing our stage and talking about your story behind the brand and who you are. She spent 10 of a 12-year sentence in federal prison. And just listen, Church Girl in Prison, go out and watch that one. That one will bless you. And then we finished off the year with the Anointed Friends, which was a singing group that I met in Aiken, South Carolina. They're from Patterson, New Jersey. I want to say hello to the Anointed Friends and happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you ladies. They're a group of friends that started a singing group, and they have several singles out now, and they are doing an amazing job. And so I just wanted to kind of just recap and say thank you personally to you, all of the guests that were on, and thank you to all of you, the listeners that have hung out with me all year in 2022. It's been, I don't know about you, but it was a tough year. it was a tough year. I had some health issues. I was diagnosed with diabetes this year or last year. And so I'm doing well with it. We're going to have someone come on this year, a nutritionist. I've got a great health and wealth person that's going to come on and talk about how to be in a healthy place, how to eat right. And for all those who are even going through the same thing that I'm going through with diabetes, we're going to really have a special on what to eat for a diabetic, how to take your meds. And because I've had a couple little episodes, but I'm learning about my body and I'm learning about this thing. And, it is reversible. I have type 2, it is reversible. And so I'm going to be on here with a positive, very powerful testimony about no more medication. So we're going to be giving you more details about that. I am fine. I feel great. But it's been a rough year for some people. And I just want to say for, if you've lost a family member, if you lost a loved one, any friends, we've lost friends this year. Oh my goodness. I've lost some very, very, very close friends. Traveled to and fro for several homegoing services. And it's been tough. That part has been tough. One of my childhood friends, I had to say goodbye to Big Mo. I grew up with him, his brother, and his mom, his sister. And that was really tough to find out that he passed away this year. Dean Phillips passed away this year due to some senseless violence here in Atlanta. He lost his life. But Dean was such a powerful person and such a motivator and such a fighter to help put heads on beds for young people. And so we've all lost some people this year. And it may even be tough to start the new year off trying to figure out how you're going to make it without grandma, how we're going to make it without daddy, how we're going to make it without auntie, how we're going to make it without our children, how we're going to make it without those friends. Just know that you can make it. You can make it. You are not alone. And if you should need to talk to someone, there is help out there for you. You can log on to telehealth247.org and they have a lot of awesome licensed therapists and clinicians there that can help you. There is nothing wrong with therapy. I've gone to therapy. It was some of the best time that I've had. I when I went to therapy, I was trying to share my therapist. I was like, everything in my head is not filed away in the file cabinet. So if you can imagine, if I'm a picture person. So if you can imagine a file cabinet, all the files were on top of the filing cabinet instead of being filed away in its proper place. And going to therapy really was like taking all of those files and filing them away. And so I'm just so excited that I was able to even go to therapy. I had a great, great, great therapist, a Christian therapist. And so let me just kind of talk a little bit about that. Sometimes people feel like because they are Christians that they can't go to therapy, or it's a stigma if you're a Christian that you shouldn't go to therapy, or you have a lack of faith. And believe it or not, most people don't know this, and I'm going to share this with you, okay? But Creflo Dollar was a therapist, and he was a Christian, before he became a pastor. So there are Christian therapists out there that are not going to make you say 5 Hail Marys and read 4 Bible scriptures and throw holy water. They don't do that. They are licensed. They will lose their license for things like that. They are going to help you clinically get through what you need to get through. And I do believe, I believe they have just that little bit more of discernment to be able to help you. But my therapist was great. And I mean, it's time. And I just recently spent some time talking to another therapist friend of mine about some things. And I'm going to tell you, it was really good. And it was about what I'm going to talk to you about today, which is boundaries. Okay? Boundaries. Listen, my boundaries were out of order. They were all over the place. They were out of it. They were just everywhere. And I just felt it. I felt it. I felt the pull and the tug from the world, from everyone for something. And it was getting the best of me. It was really, really getting the best of me, because I really wanted to please everybody. Everybody was asking for something, and I was trying to do it all. And as I mentioned to my niece the other day, that she was scraping the bottom of the pot, I was scraping the bottom of my own pot. So when you bake that cake and you got that bowl and you're trying to get the last bit of that batter and you're scraping the bottom of there and there's nothing left there for any significance. And you lick the bowl, you do whatever you have to do. Well, that's how I was. I was feeling like I was scraping the bottom of the pot, the bowl, and there was nothing left there in there for that was of any significance. And so I had to go really stop for a second and take some time. And my therapist really talked to me about, Lynette, your boundaries are not solid. And so I want to share some of the things that she shared with me about boundaries. And so I got some notes here on my computer. So if I'm looking over, that's what I'm doing. I'm reading from my computer. But I want to talk about the benefits of setting boundaries, the benefit of setting boundaries. So one of the benefits is it promotes autonomy. You just really, I like to even just kind of, if I can show you a diagram, you in the center and outside of you is boundaries, okay? And each one of these pods of boundaries have different things to say. One is autonomy. One it will do creating a solid boundary for you. It wards off burnout. I don't know how many of you have felt like you were about to burn out, but I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. But I had to go back and look at my boundaries, because my boundaries was what was causing the burnout. I did not have boundaries. So therefore you were working, and not having enough self-care, not having enough downtime, not having enough family time. And just here's a big thing, not enough quiet time. So I was finding myself moving into burnout. So a benefit of having boundaries is burnout. If you don't watch out, you will be burned out. It will improve your mental health. Man, that was big for me, because I felt like I was at my end. And until I spoke to the therapist and she said, you need to protect your boundaries, because when you don't protect your boundaries, it affects your mental health. It improved relationships that I had with people. See, when you tell people about the boundaries that are around you, everybody understands what they can do and what they can't do. Yeah, what they can and what they can't do. And it improved relationships that I had with people, because they know, I have a boundary. I get up early in the morning. So I pray, I meditate. I'm up very, very early in the morning. And when I say early, I'm up between 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. And therefore, I retire early. I go to bed early. And anybody that really, really knows me, my son jokes with me. He'll call me sometime at 5:30 and say, oh, I just want to say good night before, you go to bed. I'm like, it's 5:30. He's like, yeah, but you go to bed sometimes at 5:30. And sometimes when I'm done with the day at 5:30, I may not go to sleep, but I will go read. I will listen to books on tape or podcasts, but I just relax. It's my time to kind of replenish myself. So, and I like to do it in the bed. My bed is really good. I have high thread count sheets, nice comforters. My bed is comfortable. And so that's where I get to relax and calm down. I have another place in my house that I do. I call it the Queen's Chair. And I sit in the Queen's Chair. And that's how I replenish. So people who know me know that they cannot call me after 9 o'clock. I'm not going to answer. That's a boundary. I'm not going to answer. But they know, oh, can't talk. It's after 9 o'clock. She's not even going to pick up the phone unless it's a super emergency. She's not going to pick up the phone. So it improved relationships with people where you're saying, why do these people call me at 10 o'clock? Well, it's because you let them call you at 10 o'clock, or they call you at 12, or they call you at 1 o'clock, and they disrespect those boundaries for you because you've not set them for yourself. So you really, really do need to do that. And it does improve relationships. It sets, again, this is a part with the improved relationships. It sets clear expectations for others. So when you have a good boundary system put together, it sets clear expectations for others. So you're not putting unrealistic expectations on them, and they're not putting unrealistic expectations for you. And I really wanted to start this year just talking to you about this, not bringing a guest on. We'll start back next week with our guest. But as we are setting resolutions for the year, people are, I'm going to lose 5 pounds, 10 pounds. I'm going back to the gym. I said I was getting back in the gym. I haven't gotten there yet. But as we are setting these things, I'm going to ask you to set boundaries for yourself, to make sure that you have boundaries in place and that you set them for yourself. So it sets clear expectations for others. It decreases stress. I cannot tell you the amount of stress I don't have in my life because of my boundaries. Now, before going to therapy and my therapist talking to me about this, I had a lot of stress in my life. I was stressed because I allowed people to come past those lines to cross that line in my life. And it brought stress to me. And so no, it decreases stress. And listen, you may have to declutter some friends too. That's a word for 2023, is to declutter. We declutter our homes. We declutter our closets. We declutter our clothes. We declutter just junk around the house, our garages. Hey, 2023, declutter some friends. There are some friends that are in your life. They don't mean you any good. They're really not friends. They really are not friends. Don't beg another person to stay in your life. Don't beg another person not to leave you. Don't beg another person to call you. Don't beg. If they walk, let them walk. Declutter. Declutter. This is a great time. Go through your friends list and declutter. A lot of people aren't here for you. They are not here for you. They are here to distract you. And here's something else I discovered with setting these boundaries is we always want to talk about, the devil is busy. The devil can't do anything to me. I'm a Christian. Yeah, but the devil can't do anything to me. I'm going to tell you what. But he can use friends to distract me and slow me down. He can't stop it, but he can slow me down. And this year I will make the goals that I'm supposed to make because I've set boundaries for myself, guys. I've set these boundaries for myself. And if without these boundaries in my life, I would be so stressed out and I wouldn't get anything done. I wouldn't get anything done. It improves self-care capabilities. Man, when I say no and I can't do something because I'm doing something for myself, I set that boundary. And a lot of times people knock on that door, they try to push, they try to persuade you, they try to make sure, oh, wow, can you? No, my no is my no and my yay is my yay. And so it improves self-care capabilities. I'm able to give myself better care. And I know that's like a buzzword, but if you're not doing it, it's just that, a buzzword. You're just talking about it and you're not being about it. And I'm about my self-care. Trust me, I'm about my self-care. And listen, self-care is not just going out and get a manicure and a pedicure and going to get a massage. Self-care is a mindset. It is a mindset. It is about how to be quiet sometimes. It's about how to meditate, how to eat well, to go out and get exercise, to walk, to swim, to go to the gym. That's self-care. Spending time with people who you trust, that you can talk to, that is self-care. Putting yourself around the right people, that's self-care. So it's not all about going to get a mani-pedi, although I do love a good mani. And I love a good pedi, and I love a good massage. As Carol Hunter and she's the one who taught me how to do self care and how to save my money. The money mender taught me that, how to save my money. Shout out to you, Carol. How to save my money to get my manis, pedis, and massages. And it gives respect from others and self-respect for yourself. So you will get respect from others and you will get self-respect when you have healthy boundaries. So I want to actually talk about what some other things for healthy boundaries, and that is to learn to say no. No is a complete sentence. I love this right here. It says no is a complete sentence. No, no, I'm sorry. And I don't care what people say, if they say, well, and my therapist said this to me. She said, when you establish healthy boundaries and you say no, two things are going to happen. This was powerful. Two things are going to happen. One, the people who are who are used to crossing the line with you, who are used to, using and abusing and just crossing those boundaries with you. When you put that boundary up and you put that border and that line and says, you're not allowed no longer, and you verbalize that you're no longer allowed to cross this line, two things are going to happen. They're going to manipulate their way or through, well, we always used to do this, and I don't know why you want to do this to me, and why would you do this to me? And I don't think this is a great idea. And why me? Why me? What's going? So they'll come in with the gifts. They will come in with affirmations to you, and oh, we love you, and that's to get you to break your boundaries down, to allow them to cross the line so that they can come in and do what they were used to doing. And so when they can't do that, the second thing she said to me is, don't be surprised when they become angry. Yeah, they're going to become angry, and then they will start to talk about you. So if you hear it, just know, well, your boundaries are working. Just know your boundaries are working. It's okay to say no. It is a complete sentence. You have to be assertive. You can be kind and firm. You don't have to be aggressive. You don't have to be rude, but you have to be firm, and you have to, and still be kind. Now, so I'm going to be honest with you. If I could just be honest with you at the top of the year, we still have a few more minutes here to talk. Let's talk. So my son said something to me, and he said to me, Mom, you don't bother anybody. But when they bother you, or as we say, when they come for you and you didn't send for them, you will burn down the entire village. And I said to him, I don't operate, I don't do that. He goes, oh, yes, you do. So in essence, I don't start a fight. But when you come for me, I'll finish this fight. And I'm going to finish it. And when I'm done, everything's done. And I said, really? So that was hard for me. I'm going to be real honest with you. That was really hard for me to kind of receive. But, my sons and I have a very great and open relationship. And so we can talk about things. And sometimes we have to talk about hard things. And he was saying this to me in love. And so I really began to meditate on what he said. And I began to pray about it. And I felt God said to me, he's right. And but what you have to practice and what you have to get good at, Lynette, is right versus righteousness. And I was like, whoa. So in essence, what I felt the Lord was saying to me was simply this: just because you have a right to say something or to do something doesn't necessarily make it right. When you have to communicate difficult information, when you have to communicate the boundaries, when you have to set those boundaries and say, please do not cross that line, you don't have to do it in a way that's going to break a person's spirit. Now, you cannot control what that person, how they receive it. You can only control how you give it. And as long as in your heart you are giving it from the best place, and it's not intended to hurt a person's feelings, even though they may get their feelings hurt, then you've done your job. And so I'm a big Game of Thrones fan. I'm a big House of Dragons fan, right? And so I was watching House of Dragons, and now I don't remember all their names because they got all these really, really cool names. But it was the Targaryen woman who was in line to be the queen, and her advisors was telling her to just mount the dragon, get on top of the dragon, and just burn everything down. Just fight her enemies. They stole from her. They abused her. They did all sorts of things. Just get on the dragon and just burn everything down. And I remember there was a statement inside of that show that said, "Who wants to rule over ashes?" So, and I heard that, and I was like, man, that's so powerful, because I've had a tendency to, when people would bother me, to defend myself. What I would do is I would mount my dragon and I would burn down the village. I would burn down the village, guys. I'd be like, that's it, Takatis, let's go. And then when the dust settled, there would be nothing but ashes there, right? So who wants to rule over ashes? So there's got to be a better way to be able to communicate tough subjects and tough things, and that's through righteousness. See, because when I come in right, I'm going to mount my dragon. And, I've had to just tell my dragon, we ain't fighting like that no more. But when I come in right, I mount the dragon. When I come in righteousness, I bring the Holy Spirit with me. I bring grace with me. I bring compassion with me. And I can bring love with me. Even though I have to communicate something difficult to you, or I have to, stand my ground on my boundaries, I don't have to kill you in order to do that. Okay. And that was a huge, huge lesson that I had to learn, that I've been practicing. I practiced all 2022. And I'm going to tell you the benefits of setting those boundaries and articulating that information firm, but in love. Guys, it's, my mom used to say, don't cut off your nose to spite your face. And so what I was doing was cutting off my nose to spite my face. And now I get to keep my face and my nose, right? So most definitely be assertive, but be kind when you have to articulate your boundaries to people. Safeguard your spaces. That was huge for me. Safeguard your spaces. Everybody can't come into your home. Everybody can't come into your space. I have something that I call inner court, outer court, and holies of holies. And the mistakes that I've made where people have crossed boundaries for me is I've allowed outer court people to be in my holies of holies. And then I'll say some things, or I will share some very personal, intimate things, and I will hear those things outside the holies of holies. They were outer court people that you treat them that way. They're outer court people. So you have your inner court people, you have your outer court people, but then you've got that core, that small circle, that holies of holies. My circle is so small. There's not a lot of people inside of that holies of holies. And we make a lot of mistakes by bringing outer court people inside of that small hole. And then when they betray us, then we want to burn down the village. Okay. We feel we have a right to burn down the village, but really we should look back and say, did I allow them to cross a boundary that I did not allow them to come in? Were they in a space that they didn't deserve to be in that space? Everyone can't come into your home. Everyone is not privileged to what God is telling you to do. Everyone is not privileged to what God is sharing with you. Keep your stuff close to your chest. Don't be out here telling people your business, telling everybody all your stuff, because they're going to take it or you're going to hear it again, and it's not going to be the way you intended it to be. So be cautious about that. Safeguard your spaces, set boundaries for your physical, your spiritual, and your emotional spaces. Set boundaries for your safeguarding your spaces, for your spiritual, your physical, and your emotional spaces. Protect them. Protect your heart. And the way that you do that is know that you got an outer court of people, you've got an inner court of people, and you've got a holies of holies. And that group should be very, very small. Get support. Reach out to a mental health professional. I'm going to always be an advocate for mental health, but get some support. Listen, my therapist helped me with boundaries. She said, your boundaries are out of whack. You need to safeguard those boundaries. You need to connect them. So get support. If you need to talk to someone, you can log on to telehelp247.org and talk to a therapist. I mean, there's other places out there, but I partner with Telehelp 24/7. So before we leave, I just want to share with you what boundaries might sound like, because I've had to go through this. I've studied this and I've had to go through this. But what does a boundary sound like? So I've given you why it's important to have a boundary for the new year. But let's get some examples of what they sound like. So in essence, what you could use to say to someone that may be crossing boundaries, or you have to set some boundaries. So boundaries sound like this. I will end this phone call if you continue to shout at me. Do you know I have done that? I have had people on the phone yelling at me. You can't get a word in. They're yelling, they're talking, they're over talking you. And I'll just be like, you know what? If you're going to continue to talk to me this way or use that tone of voice with me, I'll just end the phone call, because I'm not going to let you disturb my peace. I think it's in Philippians 4:7. It says, and the peace of God shall surpass all understanding and guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. And so I have to guard my hearts, my physical heart, my spiritual heart, my mind, my subconscious, and my subconscious and my conscious mind. I'm not going to let you trip on me like that. So if you are yelling, freaking out on me, cussing at me, I'll just end this conversation. You have a wonderful day. You don't have to be rude. Affirm. You can be firm, but you don't have to be and assertive, but you don't have to be rude. I will end this conversation because I will not allow you to talk to me this way. Respect yourself, respect your space, respect your boundaries, and others will do the same. Say something like this. If you're in a place where someone is saying, oh, come and stay, you know, I can come, but I can stay for about a half an hour. Like I can't stay for a long period of time. I can come, but I have other things to do. I can't stay long. I can stay for about a half an hour. Here's another one. A sound of boundaries. Thank you for your offer. Unfortunately, I can't make it. Thanks so much for the offer. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for thinking about me. I can't make it. I can't make it. And I mean, that should be something that's easy for us, but it's not. We'll be like, well, I guess I'll do it, knowing good and well, like, I don't really feel like doing this. Well, if you don't feel like doing it, just say it. Thank you so much for the offer, but unfortunately, I can't make it. Here's another one. I'm not comfortable discussing that. Please do not discuss it with me. Now, this is huge. And you'll find out when people come to spill gossip or spill the tea with you, right? When they come like that and you say, you know what, I don't feel comfortable discussing this conversation and I don't want to talk about it. Have you talked to this person about it? I have done that, oh my God, so much this year. And what it has done is set a standard and a boundary. Don't come to me with your foolishness. Don't come to me with gossip. Don't come to me. If you have not discussed this with this other person, don't come to me with it. What am I going to do for you? Like, I'm not going to let my ears be a dumping ground for foolishness and tea and gossip and things like that. Because what that does is ultimately it will distract you from your purpose. And I am laser focused on what I need to do. So I'm not comfortable discussing that. Please don't and do not discuss that with me. Because, sometimes people will, try to make little slurs. Look, women and men do this. Inappropriate conversation will say things like that. You know what? I don't feel comfortable with this conversation. And don't let them do it. And sometimes people will try to push themselves on you. And if you are a woman and you feel very uncomfortable with how a person is pursuing you, tell them, I don't feel comfortable. I'm feeling a little bit, weird by that. I recently had to do that. Listen, I'm not comfortable with this conversation. So I'm going to ask that we discontinue this conversation. Okay. I need time to think about it. I'll come back to you. Whoa. Sometimes people would pressure you into trying to make a decision right at that moment. This is what boundaries sound like. I need some time to think about it. Let me get back to you. I'll get back to you. Do not make a commitment, because when you make that commitment, that's the only thing that they're going to hear. And if you, unfortunately, are unable to stay true to that commitment, you're going to be the worst person in the world. They're going to be angry. They're going to fuss, cuss. You're going to be the worst person in the world. So it's better to step back for a moment before making that commitment to a person. Say, hey, I need time to think about that. Let me get back to you. All right. I don't respond to work emails on the weekend. I'm in my business and I kind of look at emails all the time. But if you have to do a boundary where you have to set that boundary for yourself, where you don't look at emails on the weekends, do it. Communicate it. Say, okay, I won't be seeing that email until Monday when I come back to work. That's a boundary. Because when I worked in corporate America, I was on all the time, like email after email. I come home. We have this challenge right now where we don't set these boundaries with our jobs, where we leave work. On the way home, we're still reading emails. When we get home, we're still reading emails. Before we go to bed, we're still reading emails. When we wake up in the morning, when we go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, we check in emails. That is an unhealthy boundary life. So you have to know, if you're not going to look at emails on the weekend, let them know, please leave me a message. I will not be reading these emails on the weekends, and I will respond to your email on Monday. That's a boundary. That is a boundary. I'm not comfortable with that. If you do it again, I'm going to leave. That's another one. Why put yourself sitting in a place that is making you super, super uncomfortable? And you can say simply, listen, I don't feel comfortable with that. And if you continue to cross that boundary with me, I'll just leave. And you have to be able to articulate this. This is what boundaries sound like. We talked about what boundaries are, how to set them, why they're important, especially for the New Year's. But this is what boundaries sound like. And the last one, I respect your opinion, but this is my life and my decision. Man, that's big. I respect your opinion, but it's my life. And it's my decision to do this. And I don't know if we could all say this. I respect your opinion, because everybody has one. Everybody has an opinion about what you're doing. Everybody has an opinion about your business, about, oh, you're writing that book. I don't think you should write that book. I had people tell me this. And I, believe it or not, didn't let anybody but my editor read the book that I was writing when I wrote Hollow. I didn't let anybody, my family, my children, nobody read the book but my editor. And I'll tell you why I did that. That somebody said to me, why did you do that? You should have gotten no, because I wanted to stay true to my authentic voice in my book. And I respect everybody's opinion of what I should do or what I shouldn't say, or how I should put this there, or I shouldn't say this that way. I felt I needed to stay authentic to my voice. And so I respect your opinion, but this is how I'm going to do it. So I really hope that this little intimate time that we've had on the very first Tuesday of the new year 2023, I hope it's really been cool for you, and that you got one thing, you got something from setting these boundaries. I would love, if you're watching this on the replay, put it in the chat. Let me know that you are watching, you're hearing this, you got this. There's something that you've been able to glean from this. You've been able to take something away, and that we are all setting better boundaries for our 2023. I think we will be happier people, and we'll be safer people too as well. Well, I am so excited to have spent this first Tuesday with you, just alone, me and you, kind of hanging out and talking about 2022 and about this very important subject, boundaries. Thanks again for a great year. I'm looking forward to seeing you, continuing to see you and support this podcast in 2023. Please like and share this podcast with anybody, and just share it with them. You never know, who it may bless today. Well, that's all the time that I have for now. I'm so excited. I'm super excited about being with you guys. One more time before I go, remember, God loves you. I love you. But most importantly, learn to love yourself. Bye for now.
You've been watching Speak Out Loud, the story behind the brand, with your host, Lynette Jackson. Please like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. And until next week, don't forget to use your voice to speak out loud.